Hi, welcome to Black Sci-Fi TV. A lot of you may know me as the host on this show, but you may not know I'm actually an artist, and my full-time passion is creativity. I'm here at my art exhibit Afroglyphics, which is an exploration of Afrofuturism and Nubian-themed sci-fi art in all its many forms. It is currently on display at Color Space Labs, right here in Philadelphia, and I would like to welcome you into my world. So this right here, this is my piece called The Truth. And what it is my depiction of hip hop as a goddess and what it means, how it ties into the music industry. And I think what a lot of people don't realize, if they talk about Afrofuturism, they only see it in one form. But with this piece, for example, it depicts a goddess that also has technological sci-fi elements to them, and keeping it in line with the Nubian aspects that I always try to exhibit. On her belt buckle is the Adinkra symbol for energy, symbolizing women having energy, giving birth to something. On her heart, her truth is music and is her expression of that, and she wears her music on her heart. So this was controversial because of the depiction of the female form, and a lot of people only see it based on that. But as I've shown it around different conventions, more people have seen it. They've come to absorb the deeper message of it. So another thing that made it so controversial was the depiction of the gun. And I remember when I first did it, I was asked to be part of an art exhibit, and the theme was, what does hip hop mean to you? So because I knew it was going to be in a more mature setting, I wanted to do something that was more provocative in the sense of let us think, let us engage in a serious discussion, a serious dialogue. And with it being hip hop, I'm a big hip hop fan, and I feel like music and words have power, and they should affect you, and it should hit you like a bullet. Hence the depiction of the diagram of the gun, and on the bullets themselves they have the word truth. Coming out of the nozzle of the gun is a microphone put in place of a silencer, but a microphone is actually an amplifier, saying you can't silence the truth. So when I first took it to this, other exhibit, and I showed the curator, and he told me that it was actually a depiction of violence. And I tried to explain to him that it wasn't about violence, it was about the passion you feel and the impact that music should have, and he wasn't trying to hear it. But like as I said, as I've shown this around the country and the world, most people now, they're able to look a little deeper and see the symbolism and get the meaning behind it. Another aspect I try to have in my work, that hip hop element, is fashion being one of 5 elements of hip hop. So you'll notice the hoodie, which I actually want to get this made into a real thing. So the hoodie, the natural hair of her, the big hoop earrings, all of those things that symbolize hip hop and just being fashionable and fly. You'll notice on the inner lining of the hoodie itself, the graffiti arrows, another element of hip hop, graffiti. In the background, you'll notice that as well. Even in the bottom of the drawing itself, there's that dripping paint reminiscent of a graffiti piece that got thrown up. So this is actually the first in a series that I would love to do of gods and goddesses representing more urban elements and urban themes. My exhibit, Afroglyphics, is actually a collection of 3 smaller exhibits. This right here is my set, Cradle universe. It features what I think is a perfect example of Afrofuturism. The piece is called Sep Cradle, Journey to Mecca. And it features a post-apocalyptic scenario, a world where people are able to tap into Adinkra symbols and harness their properties. They also control these giant African mechas. A lot of times in sci-fi, you see the most common, the Japanese mechas, but you don't see the African depiction of that. There's also the symbolism of the pyramids, the African clothing, the African mask, and like I said, the Adinkra symbols, which is a major component. Even small things like natural hair. This piece shows a young girl with her mentor, who they're on their way to this floating fortress called Mecca. And what happens there will be developed more, but it explores this young girl and her discovering her abilities. And one of the things I wanted to do with this particular project at Cradle is explore the ways that we can market ourselves as people, as creators. So this is actually going to be an illustrated calendar. So once again, I feel as a creative, there's so many different ways to express yourself. The third part of my exhibit is called Sera Forms, and is an exploration of Black sci-fi mixed with mysticism. Is an exploration of my take on angels and religion. And in this piece right here, this is, I think, one of the best depictions of that. We have the elder angels, the cyborg alien angel beings, teaching the next generation of these beings. And with this world, what I wanted to do was make it as well-rounded, as developed as possible. So I wanted to show, a lot of times in sci-fi or in movies, whatever, you only see like maybe one kind of alien, but we never get to see who are the mothers, who are the children of some of these creatures. So with this, we see some of these kids being taught a lesson, and in the piece, you'll see other floating installations where there are other kids that are being taught. So it makes you think about what is this world and what are they about? What is he saying to them? What's his knowledge? You'll also notice that in this particular piece, they're missing their halos as opposed to some of the other pieces where you'll see the angels have the halos. The story behind this is that the gentleman actually is serving a sentence, and he had his halo taken from him. And the next generation, they have yet to achieve their halo. So that having that halo will actually be a gift and something. Once they reach that stage, they enter into another level of their development. This is also what's so great about this piece too, is actually also the cover for the Black Sci-Fi anthology, The Scribes of Neoda. And through talking with Maurice, the head of Black Sci-Fi TV, we said that Neoda could be his own world, or a dimension. So there's so much to explore in this. This is a beautiful thing about doing these images, where you can have all these deeper stories, or the viewer themselves, they can come up with their own story. If we give them bits of information, where do they take the story then? So these are my worlds. We took you through the cipher, we took you through Cradle, we took you through Sera Form. With Afroglyphics, I want to show that there's so much more levels to Black sci-fi. It's not just Afrofuturism. We can explore to all the greatest parts of your imagination, and even more to come.